Welcome back to Sports Extra, everybody. I'm Reggie Chatman. 2 straight road games with 2 different results for the Atlanta Falcons. Amir Martin has been our boots on the ground for both those games and joins us now from Charlotte on a day where the Falcons offense didn't look good. Shut out in this loss against the Carolina Panthers. And naturally, a lot of the conversation is going to be about the quarterback play. Michael Penix Jr. completed only 50% of his throws through 2 interceptions, including that really bad pick six. We also saw Kirk Cousins. What's your biggest takeaway from the quarterback play in this loss for the Falcons?
Yeah, Reggie, well, there's no way to sugarcoat it. Michael Penix Jr. did not play very well in Carolina. I think he understands that, and everyone in that locker room understands that as well. But it's pretty normal for a young quarterback, even though Michael isn't technically young in age, but young in the NFL, for them to have kind of a mismatch of a game. And that's exactly what happened to Michael. It's a frustrating one. It's one that you want to learn from sure. But absolutely nothing was going right from him. From the very beginning, even in warm-ups, he was having issues with the communication in his helmet. So for those of you that don't know, quarterbacks have microphones in their headset so that they can get the play calls in from their offensive coordinator, that's Zach Robinson, upstairs in the box. It wasn't working for Mike from the very beginning. So you saw some of those miscues early on. It's not an excuse, but nothing was going right even when they just started the game. And he was missing really easy throws, especially ones on 4th down that most quarterbacks should be making. It was pretty uncharacteristic of Mike, and when you're forced in these 3rd and long scenarios, it's hard to get something going. Your running game isn't working like you normally want it to. It's forcing you into these uncharacteristic situations, and it wasn't just Mike. It was all over the offense. There were drops by some of the receivers, and you did say it, Reggie, that pick six, it was pretty bad. It was his first interception this year. He threw a couple last year, 3 to be exact, but the pick six he's definitely going to want back. He'll look back at that film tomorrow and think, I probably shouldn't have thrown that football. There's a couple of those that I think were very obvious for Mike, but I'm not necessarily concerned. Yes, we did see Kirk Cousins in the 4th quarter, and in fact, I was telling people around me, I think it's time to bring in Kirk, not because you should make this all about a new quarterback battle, but because things were simply out of hand. And when you have a quarterback like that who's simply trying to learn and get better, the worst thing that you can do for him and his confidence is to continue to play him when things are getting out of hand. So I think it was the right call by the coaching staff to put Kirk Cousins in. And when Raheem Morris was asked about it, Reggie, after the game, he simply said no, he is not going to let Kirk Cousins compete for the job. It was just a scenario where he needed to be in at that time.
Now, you talked a little bit about that coaching staff. Zach Robinson, I mean, look, I want your opinion on this because when you go on social media, a lot of people are talking about how you've got Michael Penix Jr. You should be throwing the ball deep. There's a lot of check down plays. It felt like the offense wasn't really moving. I'd love your opinion on how much you think that the play calling was the issue today in this loss against the Panthers.
Yeah, I'm a tough one when it comes to play calling. I don't like to give it all to the coaches right away. And listen, Twitter, Reggie, is a very tough place to be right now. If you're a Falcons fan, they're frustrated because this offense was supposed to be a home run offense. You have your quarterback of the future. You've played 3 games, and nothing is working for you offensively. So the frustrations are certainly there. You only score 3 touchdowns through 3 games, and you saw a lights-out game by the defense in Minnesota, and then you flip the script, and everything looks discombobulated. So I think the pressure is certainly on Zach Robinson as a play caller, especially because as things snowball, nothing really got better, and it didn't seem like plays were there, especially later in the ball game, and even when the Falcons did have opportunities, because remember, when things were going awry because of the opportunity not to get the play call in early, so talking about the headset issue, the Falcons really did have opportunities to make this a ball game. It was a 1-score game. Things were not out of hand, and all of a sudden you're looking at miscues left and right, and Carolina jumped on it. And I don't want to take away from Bryce Young's game. He had a phenomenal afternoon. Not turning the ball over was huge for Bryce as well, but he was making the big-time throws that Mike wasn't. And for Zach Robinson as a play caller, I think his seat gets a little bit hotter this week. Again, only 3 games, but this sample size certainly makes you a little bit concerned when you thought this offense was going to be a little further along than they are right now.
Falcons only gave up 30 points in this game. I say only, but they gave up 30 points this game, but less of it had to do really with what the defense had going on. The Falcons actually outgained the Panthers in this game, but the Panthers, of course, the big-time win. I'm curious as to what you think the bigger story is with the defense. Do you think they were the problem in this game, or do you think the game doesn't tell the full story?
Yeah, I don't think you can point fingers at any single part of this game. I think all three phases were really discombobulated, because I'm talking a lot about the offense because that was the really big story in this one, but special teams, there were miscues there, and even when special teams is giving you opportunities, the offense couldn't capitalize on that. Remember that muff punt that they got and DeMarco Hellams jumped on it, then the offense can't even get close to a touchdown range. So I think that it's not just the defense's fault, it's not just special teams, it's not the offense. All across the board, these guys did not look like the team that we saw in Minnesota, and especially defensively. You look at all of the rookies that had career firsts for them, that was not any case in Carolina. So I think they really do need to go back to the drawing board. The defense really giving up only one touchdown. I know more touchdowns happen, but when you go back and look at the film, they're only going to be looking at that one that seemed like a very egregious error. And some of those rookies really did look young, honestly, to me on defense today. So I think across the board, this was a rough one for the Falcons. The best thing they can do is scrap it and move forward, because a 30-0 loss, it doesn't feel good to lose this way, but these guys are certainly frustrated. They said a lot of that in the locker room.
Back to the drawing board. There's going to be a lot to look at on that drawing board. There's 2 missed field goals. The kickoff returns look shaky. The punts were a little weird as well. A lot to go back and try and get fixed for this team that is 1-2 to start the year. Maria, thank you so much. Have a safe travel back here to Atlanta.
Appreciate you, Reggie.